Hello, hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. In the last episode, we were having, I guess, a bit of a talky session. We were chatting with all of our companions. We're up to Hiravias. It seems we haven't actually spoken to this guy since we recruited him, so yeah, we have a lot to get through with Hiravias.
Need something?
He asks with a raised eyebrow. Tell me about yourself.
My second favorite subject.
He runs his fingers through his scalp, preening his fur.
What would you like to know?
Where are you from, originally?
My mother's crotch. You?
Excellent. I meant from what land do you hail? Stare silently, stoic. What a coincidence, I also came from your mother's crotch. Clever. Are you always this foul? Aggressive? Never mind, let's talk of something else. I don't have time for... What a coincidence! I also came from your mother's crotch.
For the record, only I'm allowed to insult my mother. But I respect your dedication to banter, so I'll let it slide. This time.
He narrows his one eye at you.
I grew up in Glonfoth, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glonfoth many times.
Ooh, okay. What's the story behind the symbol of whale on your eye patch? A whale is known as the eyeless face, so his symbol seems a good fit for my eye patch. He absent-mindedly runs his finger along the strap of the patch band. Whale iconography is rather popular in my home tribe, but it seems he is not as widely venerated here in the Deerwood. I remember thinking that if I consecrated my eye to he who obfuscates and reveals, then maybe with enough devotion, Whale would make some use of the old rune thing. He pulls on the ice patch strap and lets it go with a loud snap. So if you think you see me staring at rumps and cleavage, it's really just the will of Whale controlling my gaze. Honest. Okay, so you're a pervert too, but like... Oh, you fucked an animal. I forgot about that. I was gonna say, like, you're not a raging sexist like Durance is. Like, You seem to have an appreciation for women, whereas Durance just has a disgust for women. But then, yeah, no, you were in animal form and you fucked an animal. Hiravias, no. Hiravias, what? Maybe I don't want to know why. What's your relationship with Galawain? I was raised as a disciple of the Seeker God. He is the champion of the hunt, be it the simple struggle for sustenance or the scholarly pursuit of knowledge. In my older years, I found... He cuts himself off and shakes his head and starts again. Life has shown me I am more suited to the ways of Whale. The furious hunt for knowledge often outpaces the journey to real understanding. Druids are known for changing into animals. What sort of creatures can you become? He takes a half step backward as you ask the question. All sorts of things, he says quietly with a long, uncomfortable gaze. Is this because you were fucking animals? Do you realise, oh, that was wrong. I shouldn't have fucked that animal. I shouldn't have done it. Is that why you're uncomfortable? Ooh. Hiravias stares at you blankly, arms folded. Let's discuss something else. Okay, so perception 12. That's an unusually terse response from you. What are you holding back? Might 14, requirement not met. Intellect 14. Any man with your scars has a story to tell. I'm just going to ask you later if you don't tell me now. If you want to talk about it, I'm all ears. Not trying to pry, you just seemed excited to tell me all your other stories. Forgive me for asking. We're a nosy bitch. We're the nosiest of bitches. Any man with your scars has a story to tell. I'm just going to ask you later if you don't tell me now.
Yes, I suppose you should know.
He grips his forehead and turns his face away from you.
I struggled with spirit shifting, the final rite of passage in my druidic training. I prayed to Galawain for insight and, in the style of seekers of old, went to the forest, alone, to ask for guidance.
And is this where you fucked the animal?
Then I got my answer. An answer at least. In the form of a vibrantly colored Stelgar that pounced from the underbrush and made a salient demonstration of its capacity to eat things 1/15 its size.
You're alive today. So how did you fend off the beast? Did you fend it off with your penis? I don't think I want to continue this story. That's terrible. I'm thankful you managed to survive benevolent. Let me guess, the beast knocked some sense into you, cruel. As awful as that sounds, it's one amazing rite of passage. Passionate. Is it? Getting attacked does... I can't imagine Ximena saying this. Like, oh, you got attacked? That's one amazing rite of passage. You're alive today, so how did you fend off the beast?
Fend it off? I ripped off its arm and sent it running.
Okay, so this isn't the animal you fucked. Excellent. He strikes the face of an offended man but smiles too wide to hide his amusement.
As the beast was lopping off bits of my handsomeness, I remember trying to fight back, swinging with arms too short to reach. I felt I had the energy for one last swipe at the beast's nose, and when I lashed out with a punch, my arm felt twice as massive, and my fingers sprouted talons. In a rush of power, I shifted into a mirror of my assailant. Apparently, he couldn't pick on someone his own size. By the battle's end, his severed arm was in my maw. The beast limped away in defeat.
That's quite an impressive tale. I thought learning to spirit shift would win me some respect. Maybe trap myself in a deer and lass with a lust for little men. Alas, I might have been better off staying a novice. When I wandered back to my village, they saw my wounds and asked what happened. I showed them. The name they called my form was the Autumn Stelgar, and... His mouth opens, but he hesitates for a long moment before choosing his words. They were not impressed. The Riau of my circle believe the Autumn Stelgar to be a heinous abomination. It is said that if it eats you, your soul is invariably lost. As this was my first and most intuitive form, they deemed me a carrier of its evil. Even though I never so much as threatened my kin, I was ruled unfit and cast out. Hiravias sighs, scratching his scarred face. I don't know what message Galawain was trying to send. The only lesson I learned was that the Seeker God will punish you for seeking. Okay, so you're some sort of soul cannibal. Why, you didn't choose your spirit-shifting form. Were you at least recognised as a proper druid? Can you learn to spirit-shift into something less terrifying? Thank you for sharing your story. Yeah, this is interesting. You didn't choose your spirit-shifting form. No, he says with a huff. It chose me, or so I imagine. I always assumed I would shift into a stoat. Seems more true to my nature. He points to the embossed pattern of whale on his eye patch. As the obscured teaches, when the answer is inscrutable, one must be content to ponder the question. Were you at least recognised as a proper druid? His brow furrows. No, but I know I passed an initiation rite 5 times more perilous than any of those kin betrayers that insisted I was a failure. Can you learn to spirit shift into something less terrifying? Already can, and sometimes do, he says with a beaming smile that quickly returns to a scowl. But the druids of my circle assign great meaning to one's first form. I'll always be unclean to them. So you're some sort of soul cannibal? Hiravias stares at you with a frown before covering his face in his hands. No, he mutters. At least I think not. I've never actually sat down and eaten an entire person to find out. I'm not that curious to find out. Thank you for sharing your story.
Well, if you don't know me, you can't trust me. And if you can't trust me, odds are low you'll leap in front of a flying arrow to save my life.
He blushes and tugs at his tunic. Aww.
I've been meaning to visit the Druids of Twin Elms to see if they know more about my spirit shift. If our journey takes us there, perhaps they can enlighten me with more information about the Autumn Stelgar. But for now, maybe we can talk about something less depressing?
He clears his throat and puts on a pained smile. Absolutely. I want to hear more about Galawain and Whale. He stares at you blankly with his one eye. Oh, not sure what more there is to say on the subject. Unless you were itching for a religious debate. Okay. Tell me more about your thoughts on Whale. I came to know Whale in earnest in the first year of my exile. I asked myself why Galawain would punish me for asking questions. What just and fair god would punish me for doing as he asks? Questioning why I had been mauled just drove me mad. At the height of my worry, I would have dreams where I only saw with my injured eye. My healthy eye became blind in my dreams. He lifts up the eye patch to gently itch at the socket. You catch a quick glimpse of a puckered and scarred abscess under the whale-embroidered patch. So, one afternoon, I stitched a stylized eye motif on the patch. I like to think of it as my self-initiation rite into the Brotherhood of Whale. Whale is not an instructive or overbearing deity. He does not freely dispense wisdom and expects all of us to question and explore with our own minds. Whale reminds me that curiosity is being receptive to any and all truths, not hunting for any one answer. Has Whale ever actually spoken directly to you, or sent you? He's spoken to us. Does praying to Whale help make sense of the Stelgar attack? You still seek wisdom, you're just seeking a different god because the first didn't answer. Sounds like you should thank Galawain for showing you the wisdom of Whale. These just seem aggressive. Has Whale ever actually spoken directly to you, or sent you a sign? No, never directly, he says with a smile. Which is as it should be, given what he represents. I especially like how Whale never sends wild beasts to maul me. Or maybe I have low expectations of such things. Maybe. Let's speak of something else. Okay. On second thought, some other time. Hiravias shrugs. Your loss. Okay, we can absolutely do that. 1 second. Was there...
Need something?
Yes, okay. Tell me about Irglandfath. It's a verdant land of history, culture, and natural beauty. His voice falls into a half-whisper as he adds, and we already have enough unwanted trespassers, so I recommend you never visit. Fair play. Do you miss it? Why should I avoid Irglandfath? What can you tell me of your tribe? Orlan requirement not met. Aren't most Orlans in Irglandfath wild? What do the Glandfathans think of the Deerwood and its people? Let's speak of something else. Do you miss it? Used to, he says with a slight frown. He scratches his shredded ear and looks eastward. It's home. I'll go back eventually, but... He turns his attention to his shoulder and picks a small seed from the fibres of his tunic. See this? He holds up the seed. I know, just a seed, but I've never seen this type before and I'm itching to find out what grows from it. Every day I see something new out here. I'll return home eventually, but for now my curiosity exceeds my nostalgia sevenfold. Why should I avoid Irglandfath? He looks at you, puzzled. There are no cities to visit, no centres of commerce to explore. It would seem most visitors come to our lands to pillage the Engwithan ruins. The ancient Engwithans gave the forest to our ancestors, and in return, we watch their ruins and see to it that they remain untouched. And before you ask, no, we don't have a secret passphrase or hand gestures. Nobody enters the ruins, not even the guardians and watchers. What can you tell me of your tribe? I'm from the Fisher Crane tribe. Most of my people live far to the southeast in and around the Thane Bog. He weaves his fingers together and cracks his joints in a flexing motion of wet snaps. The tribe is not one of great renown, but we... Hiravias pauses for a moment. They protect their lands in accordance with the sacred oath of old. And as much as it pains me to say it, I wouldn't want any other tribe's name attached to my own. Did you grow up in a bog? Why aren't the Fisher Cranes well regarded? Could you join a different tribe? I had some other questions about Irglandfath. Did you grow up in a bog? Only briefly. Here, let me show you something. Don't commit any of it to memory, please. Hiravias rolls up his sleeves and shows you his forearms. The soft brown fur of his arms is lined with the faint stains of henna and scar tissue. This is where I grew up, on the migration trail. I had it marked on my arms during my training. While much of the tribe guards the Thane Bog year-round, many of us, including the Circle of Hawk and Ivy, honour the oath by patrolling lesser-known ruins scattered throughout the lands. He points at several of the henna crescents on his forearm. We eschew houses, take only what we can carry, and move camp every 2 moons to ensure that all our sacred sites are visited at regular intervals. The nomadic patrol is how my druid circle came to its name itself. We circle and protect like hawks, but we only ever perch on the ivy of the ruins. That is, nearby trees, never to enter the builders' lairs. Why aren't the Fisher Cranes well regarded? Because the other tribes are insufferable sibling spawn? He grins broadly and stares at you for several silent moments. I suppose the Fisher Cranes have a reputation for being passive and reluctant to fight, which is another way of saying the other tribes fight hard while we fight smart. Our namesake, the Fisher Crane, is a marshland raptor that remains stark still from sunrise to noon. We are invisible stewards of the land and patient hunters of those who trespass. The three-tusked Stalgar tribe see our methods as soft and unbecoming, but I hear they use the same word for cousin as they do for whore in their dialect. Just an observation. Could you join a different tribe? Hiravias frowns and shakes his head. There are tribes that would take me. The twice-split arrows adopt outcasts like myself, but their ways are not my own. Some of them even live under roofs. How obtuse. He looks off to the southeast and sighs. I long for home, just not any home. Oh, not just any home. But Whale has made my wandering fruitful, and I accept that it may not be until my soul passes that I rejoin the Fisher Cranes. I had some other questions about Irglanfath. Wild in and of itself isn't a negative descriptor. If this was aren't most Orlans in Irglanfath savages, I don't think she would ask that. But wild in and of itself isn't a negative descriptor. I could see Ximena asking this just with like naivete, innocence, and a little bit of ignorance. Aren't most Orlans in Irglanfath wild?
Wild? Yes, I suppose all of us were a bit wild as my tribe was migratory and we didn't live in permanent houses.
His voice raises an octave in indignation.
But I understand what you're trying to ask. Yes, a slight plurality of Glanfath and Orlans have forest plumage. Growing up with meadow plumage, I was assumed to be weaker than others my age. The huntmaster of my tribe only chose apprentices from the forested kin, or rather, wild Orlans, as they're called amongst slave-owning bigots, as well as bigots too broke to own slaves.
Hiravias mockingly clears his throat.
I grew up in Glanfath, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glanfath many times. What would you like to know?
Oh, okay. On second thought, some other time. You're lost. No. We had more to ask.
Need something?
Tell me about Irglanfath. What do the Glanfathans think of the Deerwood and its people? Hiravias spits. Foreign looters obsessed with wealth and wine, may their bowels be obstructed with pus-weeping nodules, every one of them. His scowl lingers and he scratches at his ear stump. Not that you're asking a neutral party. When I was an insufferable child, and I usually was, my parents told me Deerwoodans would enslave me in this life and the next if I didn't behave. But I'm in their lands now, and I will, in the interest of academic fairness, admit that I've met several, decent, mostly non-rabid Deerwoodans. He looks askance and folds his arms, but my suspicion about them all being drunkards has proved entirely accurate. I wonder what great wonders they'll accomplish if they all sobered up.
I grew up in Glanfath, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glanfath many times. What would you like to know?
You keep drawing me back to this. You keep drawing back to that one little tidbit of information. But no, we need to be here. Yeah, there is the opportunity to gossip. Can we discuss our party members?
Curious about your compatriots? Whom in particular?
Oh, fuck yes. Hiravi steps in close and speaks quietly. What do you think of a deer?
He's nasty, brutish, and tall. So 2/3 like me, I suppose. The circumference of his neck exceeds the circumference of my torso at its thickest point. They sure do breed them big and dumb in the deerwood, don't they? No, I'm being a brat. Truthfully, I think the guy's a lot more gentle than he pretends. He's certainly got a big heart for animals, at least, which is rather telling of who he is under that soldier exterior.
I'm guessing we can only gossip about people from the main game. We can't ask about the devil or Zawa or Maneha. Okay. Still, we can gossip, and that is fun. What are your thoughts on Palagina?
Her zeal is sincere, and I can tell you she's destined to die on her feet. And she's easy on the eyes. Can't fatten a thoroughbred, that's what I always say. I just wonder if she has a cloaca or not. Ooh, the curiosity is killing me.
Sir. as another godlike, yeah, we'd the things with our heads and our faces, I'm pretty sure don't affect our genitals. I'm pretty sure. And that wasn't covered in the introduction to the godlike. Oh yeah, they've got funky genitals as well. Like, no, they've got regular kith genitalia, so she doesn't have a cloaca. Yeah, I don't. Let's speak of someone else. What do you make of Alof?
Oh, him? Him I don't mind too much. Though I could pitch a tent with the pole wedged up his anus. I could smell something funny on him. 2 cents? Not quite. Well, whatever it is, take note of his mood swings. I don't think he's unstable. I just think he has a lot going on up there.
Sagani, what's your impression?
She actually steps lightly when we travel outdoors, which is more than I could say for the rest of you. They do things differently where she's from, but she knows her way around the woods almost as well as I do. Almost.
Any thoughts on Kanarua?
Oh, I think I could fit 3 of me, plus a remainder of a 4th Hiravias inside that giant. Gods, am I glad he's friendly. And between you and me, he has a better singing voice than the prettiest lasses I know from my tribe. It's 1 part unsettling, 2 parts arousing. And it makes me wish I still had both ears.
The big bisexual? The big bisexual... Hey! I stand a big bisexual. Good for you, Hiravias. Tell me your thoughts on Durance.
Oh, love at first sight. It's like wow carved an ever-changing gash in his brain, and every hour he's a different flavor of angry. Durance makes me feel like I'm the sane one. He smells like fear in the mornings and rage in the afternoons. I'm keeping my eye on him. He's a laugh, but he might someday be a problem.
Is he a laugh? Is he, or is he just a knob? That's all for now. Let's continue our journey.
We can speak another time. Lead the way.
That we can. Excellent. Now that Kana, it's been a while. It's been a wee while. Cad Nua is a marvel. An ugly, crumbling marvel, but even so, it's overshadowed by what it sits upon. But the keep itself can tell you much about the Adirian settlement. A very rigid people, I find. Yeah, I guess, how are you holding up? All's well and clear skies ahead. Okay, he's doing fine. Let's be on our way. Okay, I'm glad to see that you're all right after what we found in the basement. Is that a deer? I think that might be a deer. So this is Palagina.
Need something?
Palagina's eyes glimmer with a divine spark as she coolly appraises you. Okay. I'd like to know your opinion on something. She nods her feathered head sharply, asking you will know. Okay, see, I guess I must have asked all of this. Let's talk about something else. Yeah, we've asked all of this. Farewell. And Adia. And I think that should be the last person.
What's on your mind?
I want to ask something about you. Yeah, okay, doesn't look like there's anything there. I want to ask you about something else.
What's on your mind?
I was wondering about Aethys.
It makes 2 of us.
Okay, no, apparently not.
What's on your mind?
Let's keep moving. Okay. And yet no one in there. Okie doke. Okie doke. That is everyone spoken to. I'm tempted to try and go further under Cad Nua. Let's see. We do have the main quests. Deerford Village. This. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to turn out to be the whatchamacallit. The Brackenbury Asylum. We do have going and speaking to Lady Webb. However, I I feel like we should probably do Through Death's Gate and The Man Who Waits before The Hermit of Hadrat House. Maybe if anyone has any opinions on that, please do let me know. Yes, that's go to Twin Elms. That's the dragon. We still have this, maybe. I say maybe. I will do it. I'm just not entirely sure when I should be doing it. Yeah, maybe I kind of want to hold off on this just until maybe I might be able to get some more people. We might be able to get the Dominells. Yeah, because we are going to do this. Okay, this is also in Twin Elms. Twin Elms. Yep. That's just chat with him. And then we need to increase our reputation in the city to do a Deer's quest. That's Deerford. Okay, Elmshore. Okay. I'm thinking I want to do some more of the endless paths. And then I think I'm going to do The Man Who Waits. I'm pretty sure, given the place of misery and madness, I feel like this is going to be Brackenberry Asylum. So yeah, I'm thinking we'll go ask the guards. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a pretty good plan. That's a pretty good plan. First things first though, let's change up our party. Who are we thinking? Oh god, that's another thing. We've got people with stuff.
Farewell.
I'm tempted to do that because it's been so long. Oh yeah, Pelagina. Poor Pelagina, dear God. There we go. Okie doke. Yeah, Aloth is chilling now. Is this? Whose room is that? I'm just curious about who is hanging out in which room. Okay, so that's Maneha. Where does the Devil of Carrick chill out? I'm just curious to see who's bunking with who. Okay, no, but seriously, where, pray tell? Oh, the Devil of Carrick's with us. I'm sorry, I had a moment. I had a moment. Ignore me. Okie doke. Let's head down. What's the fastest way? I think the quickest way would be out over here. There's that whatchamacallit. Yeah, over here. I know we always come up through this way. Can we get
them
down?
like this anymore, you know? Not by the sea. Too vulnerable to cannons.
Very true. Yep, that's good. Let's... Okay, level 5. I feel like we had gotten further. But this path, it only upped. Yes. Okay, so let's... Everyone, come on. Quick sticks. No, yeah, I'm looking at my timer. I only have a minute or so left, so I'm thinking I'm going to get down to where I explored up to. And then I'll bring the episode to a close, and then at the beginning of the next one, we'll level everyone up.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
I know. I'm just being impatient. Leave me be. And yes, I do remember this. Again, quick sticks. Go, 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 people. Now, how far did I get? That's a thought. How far did I get? It's been a while. Oh, I remember this place. I remember this place kicking my ass. God, it's a good thing I cleared this place out last time I was here. Also, it's good that monsters don't respawn. That would have been... Yes. Okay. Okay, there we go. I will bring this episode to a close right here. In the next one, we continue exploring. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. A special thanks to my channel members, such as SM2K, Christopher K. Davis, CGG, and Kevin Bicknell. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.